Hello everybody, this is Kyrix, welcoming you to another edition of This Week in Kyrix. Today is Wednesday, January 13th of 2016, and oh boy, has it been a weird fucking week. To start off, well, I'm recording much later than usual. It is currently 1:44 p.m., meaning not only am I recording this on Wednesday proper, but Wednesday afternoon. The reason for that is because my roommate John finally leaves for Buffalo, New York today. He's got his Greyhound bus ticket and all that. I may have mentioned that we had been working on Tales of Symphonia together, not as a Let's Play, just as a recreational thing. And we originally started it on the PlayStation, and we couldn't fucking make any progress because we thought he had like 2 weeks or so. And 2 weeks is not nearly enough time to beat Tales of Symphonia from where we were. So, what ended up happening was, halfway through it, I'm like, you know what? I have the GameCube version, which I've beaten. My idea being that, what in the world are you doing, buddy? Ah, okay. That me playing with my Kisa kitty? Looks like it. But anyway, because I've beaten the GameCube version, we can New Game Plus it, and I activated all the stuff. Like, we had all of our techs, we had all of our well, not all of our levels, but we gained 10 times experience. The idea being that we wouldn't have to grind, because we had to grind a couple times. We literally took all the challenge out into the last part of the game. And by the last part, I mean like the last three of the last bosses. The last boss was nothing to us. But, basically at about 3 o'clock this morning, keep in mind he had to be out of here by 7, or he had to catch the bus at 7, so he had to be out of here by like 6:30. Like 3:30 this morning, we finally beat the game, so it was fucking crunch time, you know? I came back for my tournament, which I'll get into in a minute, and we just fucking powered through that goddamn game in no time at all. So he got to see the end of Tales of Symphonia. I also made him his butterscotch brownies that he wanted, which was really good because we I kind of wanted him to have that because he was gonna eat the butterscotch chips. So I'm like, no. As a going away present to my roommate, who has done quite a bit for the house, he fucking helped keep this house running. He at least deserves to be able to have some goddamn brownies before he leaves. And I'm real sorry to see him go. I really am. I liked hanging out with him. It was nice to have a friend who lived in the house with me, you know. But he just feels the need to get out of the state, go to Buffalo, and, as he put it, better himself. You know, he can't get a job down here in Florida. He's got one almost guaranteed up there. The heat's too much for him, so it's nice and cold up there. But and I had to stay up all night because I had to make sure that he was up, because we powered through Symphonia, so he didn't have time to sleep. So I had to make sure he made his bus. Well, I helped him carry his luggage, and I went down to the bus stop with him. I sat there, and I helped him load his stuff onto the bus. And then I walked home, and I got up top of the stairs, and I saw, oh shit, there's 2 phones and a stylus here. Then I went in the house, oh shit, there's his 3rd phone, because he has 4. He has his active phone and his 3 quote-unquote dead phones that he just uses for games. And those 3 phones and his stylus were left behind. They fell out of his suitcase because it had a hole in it, because we basically dug it out of the trash. On top of that, his food stamp card was in the phone with a pink holder. He put it in the holder. So I'm trying to scramble to try and get that to him, but to no avail. So I tell him, look, I've got a friend, and Reaper, basically, for the people on here, if I've mentioned him. He was going to try and give me a ride, but I got a call from John just around noon saying, hey, Greyhound's closed until like 2, so I can't stay on the premises, so I'm coming back to get my stuff, you know. And I did. Or he did, and I went to get him his stuff, you know, his tea bags, his video game, and his phones and food stamps. So that's cool. So, it's a bittersweet situation. On the one hand, I'm very glad for him, because he doesn't want to be in Florida anymore. And he shouldn't have to be stuck where he doesn't want to be. On the other hand, it sucks so hard for me, because I'm losing my roommate, I'm losing my friend, and I'm losing one of my gaming buddies. Because, you know, we used to play video games together. Used to, like, this happened 3 weeks ago. It happened fucking 6 hours ago. That, you know, like 10 hours ago, whatever. Hell, 12 hours ago, we were still playing video games. But, I'm losing one of my Star Trek buddies, and etc. You know, it's just, it sucks. Now, from a financial standpoint, this doesn't affect me in the slightest, because he didn't have an income. Yes, he put food stamps in the house, but just as much of that was house food as it was his food. As it should be. He should be able to get his own food, you know? Meaning he should be allowed to, not he should get his own food, because he does get his own food, but I mean, he should be allowed to have, if he decides, like, he basically, this month kept talking like he was trying to justify to me, like, yeah, I want to get this. I'm like, it's your food stamps, dude. If you want to get that, if you want to get a fucking brick of meat, get a brick of meat, you know? That's what I do. And he cooked a lot of the stuff, so that's gonna suck to not have. But I wish him the best in New York. I hope he's happy up there. I hope he gets a job up there so that he can stop being so goddamn poor all the time. Because that's wearing me out too, just being poor. In other news, the Chihuahua that last week may or may not be staying, it's pretty much a given. She's here now. She's here to stay. Because I haven't seen any flyers. I went up to the office to renew my lease and even asked them, hey, anyone heard about that Chihuahua? I was like, no, we've been asking. Everyone who came in. No one knows whose Chihuahua that is, and no one's claiming her. So she's fucking my Chihuahua now. You know, I have a Chihuahua, and her name is Maya. And the reason her name is Maya is kind of silly, because I was watching Equestria Girls, the first one. And there's a scene with this blue wiener dog in it. I'm thinking, oh, wiener dog, you know, what would be a silly name for a wiener dog? You know, you can call it Wiener, you can call it Weenie, whatever. You could call it Oscar Mayer, but she's a girl, so couldn't do Oscar. Hey, Maya. She's not a wiener dog, but still, it's the train of thought I was on, so her name is Maya. And it's a pretty name. Maya's a very pretty name. And everyone I've told is like, oh, that's such a pretty name, that works so good for her. So her name is Maya. I just have to get in the habit of walking her because I've had cats for goddamn ever, and even when I owned dogs, they were outside dogs. I never had to walk them. I mean, I've walked the other dogs. I walked my niece's dogs, but that's not the same thing. You know? For those new to This Week in Kyrix, this is the hour where I spend, quote-unquote, playing a dull video game so that I can give updates about my week, and basically vent shit that I would otherwise take up recording time with. You know, like, I'd be talking about my HeroClix tournaments, or, oh god, I've been playing this game, blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't need to know that me and John were playing Tales of Symphonia when I'm recording, say, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. But here, perfectly fine. And that's why I have this, because when I first started out, half of my Let's Play commentary was me talking about other shit that had nothing to do with that Let's Play, and that needed to stop. So this came about from watching Yahtzee Croshaw do Let's Drown Out. This is directly ripped off from Let's Drown Out in everything but name. But speaking of Yahtzee, I bought Mogworld, his first book. I wanted to get Jam, but apparently it's out of print and they couldn't order it for me, but they're going to keep an eye out for me. But I have Mogworld. I've been reading a little bit of it. Very, very good book. Very good, very funny book, but it's not like a comedy. I mean, it's funny as shit, but it's not stupid. Not that I think comedy is stupid, but you know what I mean. It's not super goofy. There's a very serious backbone to it, which is great. I also picked up a classic Star Wars book, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which I have not started yet, but I have it in paperback, and it's sitting right behind my laptop as I'm speaking. Now, tournaments. Okay, so last Temporal Cold War. This is the one where you get the blind boosters, you know. I had just enough money to be able to afford 2 boosters, and then something came up, but I still had close enough. So we're going to go with that. The idea was going to be, me and Anubis were going to go in, Because John was supposed to be gone by then. Me and Anubis were going to go in. I was going to sponsor him. He was going to show up. He was going to play, and he was going to get a booster, you know? And this is not unusual. I've done this before. They know I do this. They're just grateful to have people, you know, because it makes it a bigger tournament. The fact that the booster goes to me doesn't even enter into it. Because it's not like it's a ringer, like he's going to take second, etc. No. It's just me bringing some friends in, trying to get them in Star Trek, and if they don't get in Star Trek, they're still buying me a booster. And it's all out of my money, so. Since I can't just go up and buy the boosters, I just have to have an entry. Anyway, Anubis, something came up, so that fell through. But John turned out was going to go, and he had some money, so he was going to buy his booster, and he was going to give it to me, but we'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, we get up there to the place, only to find out that his shipment didn't come in of the boosters. So all he had was 2 blind boosters from the previous months. And he said, well, we can do just your 90 points, which none of us wanted to do. We could do build a normal team, which I couldn't do and neither could John. And we could do 2 people buy the blind boosters and the rest use previous boosters. Well, there were 2 boosters. Me and John were there. We bought the boosters and everyone else had their shit. Because we were the only 2 who didn't bring stuff. And I ended up pulling the USS Lakota, which was not a double. And he ended up pulling the IRW Balak, which is the Romulan ship, which he pulled for me last month, and he decided to keep this one. Which, hey, it's his money. It's not like it was my money and, oh man, can I keep this? Which, if he'd asked me, I would have let him. But, yeah, he kept that one. And I show up to this event that, on paper, this is the stupidest fucking scenario out of a whole lot of stupid scenarios that I've fucking played. Basically, there's this sphere that you have to blow up, but it's got, like, it shoots you if you get too close to it, and it gets so many dodge dice, and you can't re-roll your attacks with your target lock like you normally can. You don't get bonuses for being close to it, and every turn you have to kill a crew member or take damage. And if you don't kill this thing in 8 turns, you die. So I figure, okay, we're just going to all gun for each other, and it'll be over in 8 turns. And I'm not feeling this at all, so I built a team of 2 board ships and the Lakota because I drew it. And I fucking won. I won the tournament. First round, I faced my opponent, you know, possible 155 points. I get the objective in the second round, so that's 25 points, and now it becomes a normal game under normal rules. He wipes all 130 of my points, but I get 100 and something of his. So I end up getting 110 points for round 1 out of 155. And next round I get John, and I fucking smoked John. I felt kind of bad, but again, I was gunning for second. Because at that point, I still had a good shot of taking second if I did well against John. Because 110 points for losing is not a bad score. Matter of fact, I think of the losers of round 1, I think I scored the highest. So, fought John, wiped him, he got 3 points off of me. 2 points was because I was 2 points under, so he gets those automatically. And I sacked a 1-point crew member, so he got those points. So he didn't get 0 points from me, he got points. You know? Then, and I was explaining to him after our round, which is over in like 20 minutes, and we had like 40 or 50-minute rounds. Maybe even hour-long rounds. So I'm explaining to him how the rankings work. I said, right now I'm gunning for second, because we have 3 undefeateds. 2 of them were fighting each other, and 1 was fighting someone else. I said, okay, if the one fighting a loser loses, then that opens up second place in a big way. Because otherwise it's going to go to one of the 2 undefeateds. And I said, and if in the 3rd round, this guy who wins between the other 2 undefeateds loses, then that opens up first as well to anyone with 2 wins and a loss. Well, due to my high score, I got to fight the undefeated guy. The 3rd undefeated guy lost to the guy who lost round 1. And I beat the undefeated guy and knocked him out. And I'm looking at the scores because the other 2 guys who were in the running are sitting next to me. And the guy who lost to my opponent in round 2 got the objective. So if he won, he would beat me by 5 points. But if the other guy won, I would win the tournament. And I did. I fucking won the tournament. Nobody saw it coming, especially me. I'm very proud of myself, very pleased, despite running cheesy board. It's not like I did it intending, oh, I'm going to run board, I'm going to whoop ass. No, I'm going to run board because it's quick. You know? And I ended up winning the Zindi Reptilian ship. And then they calculated for the grand prize, which was these two Temporal Cold War card packs, and I took third. I was tied for second, but the other guy had a better overall from 3 tournaments, so he ended up getting it. So I missed it barely. And I took first by 21 points to that same guy. So yeah, I did good. And then we have HeroClix, where I, again, lazily played Spider-Man and his amazing friends with Spider-Man and the utility gauntlet backing him up. And I swept. I beat all 3 rounds, so I did real fucking good for myself. I was hoping my friend, the HeroClix judge, could bring Saga Frontier for me, but he can't find it. If he can, I'm going to get a hold of it, and I'm going to do that. I plan to start Azure or Azure Dreams fairly soon. I've already started The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Having a lot of fun with that game already. I've only got 2 episodes in, but I'm having lots of fun. Once I get Metal Gear Solid 3 knocked out, I'm gonna sit for a while and I'm gonna see what kind of money I pull, because I'm pretty much giving up on the McDonald's job. I'm almost certainly going to try for Circle K, and I'm almost certainly going to get that just because I have references who work at Circle K who are willing to vouch for me. And if I do that, if I can get that job, then I will have some money. And I completely lost my train of thought. Okay. Up at the local gaming store, there is a PSP and Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. And if I can get that, if I can hook myself up with that, I will see if the PS4, or the PS3 rather, is if it can hook up to the PSP, which I think it can. And if so, I will buy Portable Ops as well for like $60 altogether for both the PSP and Portable Ops. I will bring them home and I will fucking add Portable Ops to the lineup and I will run that shit blind. I've heard Portable Ops isn't great. I've heard it's barely canon at this point, but still, it's part of the Metal Gear saga, and I want to do it. And quite frankly, there's some PSP games I want, you know, and this opens those up for me. I plan to finish Skatebird Dungeon 2, which is Chocobo's Dungeon 2. I plan to finish the other Skatebird shit, you know, Chocobo Racing. I have to do Shadows of Mordor, I have to get caught up on Xenoverse and all this other shit. And, hopefully I should do good. Hopefully I should do good. Speaking of doing good, how are my moodlets? Oh, I'm good. I can afford to just let shit happen. But it's been a bittersweet week. My friend Skinner, his dad died Friday, and apparently he hit his head, had a heart attack and died at the age of 59. We're broken up about it for him because, you know, it's my friend. His dad died. You don't just shrug that shit off, even though I never met the guy. But the good news is he did have a good relationship with him, so, or at least I thought he did. They were constantly seeing movies and shit together. They hung out a lot, so, I mean, at least he had that. It's not major consolation, but it's better than, oh my god, my last words to him before I saw him was, eat a dick, Dad, you suck. No. They did pretty good together. On that note, my mother has been talking about wanting to move out and get into a nursing home again because of various reasons. And I'm trying to see if Skinner, when his lease is up, wants to take her room and move in here with me. And that at that point, we would have a stable income because he does pretty good. He works at Circle K. He can actually transfer to the one across the street from us, which is where I'm trying to work. So we'd even be both working at the same place. Failing that, I want to see about Anubis getting in here at some point, and possibly getting him a job as well so that we're both working. So that's 4 incomes, because we'll each have our disability check, we'll each have our work check, we'll split the bills 4 ways between the 2 checks, so we're, you know, evening it out a little bit more, you know, and he'll have his big dog, I'll have my little dog and my cats, you know, and we'll see how that works. Although, of course, I would have to consult with them because he's got pit bulls. Because I've seen pit bulls in the park before, but ostensibly pit bulls are a no-no, so I gotta see how that works out. Hopefully they're not big barkers, because we just got rid of the barky chihuahuas. That's what I love about Maya. She doesn't bark. She's such a well-behaved little dog. That's one of the reasons I'm considering, well, not considering, I am keeping her. Because she is such a good little dog. She's very well-behaved. She's not trained, but I'm getting there. And the cats like her. Only one of the cats doesn't like her, and even she tolerates her. So there's that. But yeah, I gotta figure out my living situation here because I want one of my friends in here if I can as a roommate. And Anubis doesn't have to get a job if he does move in here, but if he doesn't and I have one, then he's gonna be fucking doing housework. I'd rather we both have jobs and split the housework, you know? And, I mean, that'll give him someone to practice HeroClix with, and to game with, and to play with, and all that shit. Same thing with Skinner. If he moves in, we can get more into Let's Plays, because he'll be right fucking here. You know? And if he gets... For one thing, even if he doesn't transfer, this will put him closer to where he works, so he can bike there easier, because he has a bike. And if he does transfer when he moves here, then he never has to worry about transportation again. No more, oh, my roommate's gotta come get me. I'll fucking come get him. I'll walk him home, you know? He could ride his bike there, but why? It's a 5-minute walk. So, I didn't get an answer from him because it was right after his dad died that I texted him. And I didn't press it at the tournament for the same reason, you know? I didn't want to fucking force this on him. But we'll see how this goes along. Because on the one hand, I don't necessarily want Mom to move, but she wants to move. She'll be happier having moved, you know? She'll have better care because she'll have people there at all hours of the day. Because even if I am here, at some point I sleep and there's no one to take over for me anymore. Because me and John used to somewhat do this in shifts. And I have to get back into the habit of checking on her for food because John handled most of that shit, the cooking. So he was the one who checked on her. I basically usually just wait until she's hungry and then I'll feed her. But I need to start checking on her too and making her eat. So yeah. It's been kind of topsy-turvy. Like I said, it's bittersweet. There's good shit. There's bad shit. I will say one thing. I'm loving this this Sims interface here. The fact that I can just let the Sims play itself while I talk on This Week in Kyrix and interject here and there like, oh, you gotta feed the kitty cats, you know? Just minor shit like that. Gotta check on stuff. Okay, you're going to litter. You're good. You're good, although you can stand to scratch something. You need some food. Which one's this? This is... Oh, that's Willow. You know what? Let's let her play with the wall dongle. Okay, I thought I had someone digging there. Oh, for the record, in this game, if you don't clean the litter boxes, the cats will occasionally go outside and do stuff. Okay, there's no stain here anymore, which means either it was never there to begin with, or one of the cats drank it. Which is a little alarming. Alright, let's fulfill that wish. Let's do the guitar wish. I don't mind doing the guitar wish. That's a skill device anyway, so. And we know I love my skill ravens. Entertainment. skills. Guitar. Can I afford this guitar? I can. Actually, do I want that one? Guitar. Let's go with this red one. No. Isn't there an electric guitar somewhere in here? Alright, guess we're doing the red one then. For the record, I myself am not musically inclined. So. It's kind of funny that we're doing the have fun, because Winkles is actually the least playful of my cats. And she certainly doesn't care about the laser, but, hey. This Winkles is a different kitty. Ow, God, that hurt. So, yeah, I actually got a comment on one of my videos for, Dead Rising. It was either today or yesterday, with some guy like, hey, could you check out my video? Which, I don't mind doing that. I wish they wouldn't fucking do it in my comments section. Send me a message. I'll watch videos, you know? I mean, as long as it's not something really fucked up, like some kind of conspiracy shit, or an ad, or some kind of attempt at religious indoctrination. I'll watch stuff for you, you know? Where's my Winky? Where is my Winky? Hug. And yes, I do hug my kitties a lot. I love my kitties. And yes, that's pretty much me. And yes, I regularly talk to the cats whenever I see them. I talk them, pet them, or both. So. I love the kitties. Are they singing together? For the record, Oreo is actually the most affectionate of my three kitties. Because she will come to me the most, she lays around me the most, she will nuzzle me quite a bit. Willow is the most insistently affectionate. Like, you have to cover yourself because she will lick the fuck out of you. And she has a really savagely rough tongue. And it actually kind of hurts when she licks. So, what is she so pissed at? Fun fact, Rio does not like being held unless I flip her on her back. If I try and hold her to me, she'll put up with it for like 10 seconds and she wants down. But if I flip her on her back, she'll stay there for an hour. Just purring and fucking paw in the air. Although she will feel for my face. She likes to knead my face when I'm holding her. Yeah, all my critters are bizarre. I love them, but they're fucking weird. I got some weird critters. They have treats. I want one. That is Winkles. Winkles is a fucking beggar. I love her, but God, she begs. She begs so bad. So bad. If she sees me, especially with any kind of meat, she will follow me and scream. Just, meow, meow. And she will get right up in my face after that shit. And that doesn't fly, so I just kind of push her off the couch while I eat. But she begs so bad. So yeah, that's definitely a Winkles thing. Of, oh, he has treats, I want a treat. There we go, let's hide that for now. Not a lot else going on right now. See, one of the downsides of this, of doing The Sims instead of Minecraft, is the fact that in Minecraft, I could get caught up in what's going on, whereas in this, there's nothing going on. Making it perfect for this kind of thing. It's a little too perfect, you know? But you have some neighbors. Not necessarily neighbors. They're in a neighboring neighborhood kind of neighbors. A neighbor twice removed. Let's go with that. No, he lives nearby, and I hooked him up with Capture Card, my extra one. Hopefully that's working for him. I'll have to check later. He will soon be doing his own Let's Play channel, and I think he's starting with Snake Eater, which I'm doing. His will be much better than mine, so feel free. If you do not watch Snake Eater, I will not be offended, because I even told John today, I've pretty much written Snake Eater off as my shitty Let's Play. I mean, I'm not doing it intentionally, but that's going to be my shitty one, because I'm not really having fun with it. I'm basically doing it out of a sense of obligation. I do not want to do Snake Eater, but I'm doing it. So, that's it. We'll go watch the fucking TV, dude. It's right there. It's not going anywhere. Scoot. Here's a cat making me scoot over. But say, you better not be scratching that couch. It may not be a real couch, but you better not scratch it anyway. That was both good for now. So, we're about halfway through this. I may shorten these down to a half an hour, just because I don't really... since it's The Sims, I no longer have the, material I used to have. Must be getting hungry. Quit it, Maya! You'll come in when I'm done! She's pawing at the door. I gotta break her of that. It's kind of important that I break that out of her. Gotta go get toilet paper today. We're down to 2 rolls, one in my bathroom and one in Mom's bedroom. I mean, granted, John's not here anymore, and he was really the only other person who used them, but still, I want some fucking toilet paper in my house. I want to know that if Anubis comes over and his butthole explodes, he's got something to wipe with. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a thing at some point. Yeah, it's pretty much normal for me, just sitting around watching TV, or in my case, videos off of YouTube that I have downloaded because I don't really have a stable internet connection right now. And letting the cats do whatever the fuck they do. Which nowadays really just involves roaming the house, getting into semi-mischief. So, yeah. I'm thinking next week's going to start my half-hour format, which is fine. I mean, I may run a little longer than a half an hour, but I think I'm going to switch to a half an hour starting next week, if I remember. I probably won't. This is me, after all. I may cut this one short, too. Yeah, if all goes well, next month I will try, because I've been told I can do this by John, but I don't know. But I'm going to try and update my phone plan, but not Mom's. Mom's going to stay on the 1 gigabyte. I'm going to try and jump to the unlimited, so that I basically just have all the data. My phone becomes my internet provider, you know? And hopefully that'll be a thing. And speaking of a thing, I think this has been a thing. I'm out of topics. I cannot possibly fill another 25 minutes. So we're going to cut it here. See you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.